Welcome back, you beautiful walking contradictions, you silent storms wrapped in human skin, you misunderstood masterpieces they never saw coming. I've been waiting for you because something happened recently, didn't it? Something shifted in the air, something cracked in their perfect little world, and now they're all standing there in shock, trying to process what the hell just went down. Their golden boy, their chosen one, their untouchable champion, the one they built their hopes on, the one they respect like he was carved from marble and destiny. He got demolished, didn't he? And the best part, the part that's eating them alive right now, is that you're the one who did it, and you didn't even break a sweat. Let's talk about what really happened in that room, because they're never going to tell the truth about it. They're going to rewrite the story, twist the narrative, find excuses and explanations that help them sleep at night, but you were there. You saw it. You felt it. That moment when the air got heavy and the silence became so thick you could taste it. Their golden boy walked in like he always does, dripping with confidence, surrounded by his little court of admirers, everyone nodding at his jokes, laughing at his stories, treating him like royalty because that's what they've been doing for years. He's the one who always wins, the one who always has the answer, the one who makes everything look effortless, the one they compare everyone else to when they want to make you feel small. But then you walked in, and something was different this time, wasn't it? You weren't playing their game anymore. You weren't performing for their approval. You weren't shrinking yourself to make him look bigger. You just existed, calm, centered, unbothered, like you'd already seen the ending of this movie and knew exactly how it was going to play out. And he felt it, didn't he? He felt the shift, felt the change in pressure, felt something in you that wasn't there before. Or maybe it was always there, but now you weren't hiding it anymore. And that's when the performance started. 'Cause that's what he does when he senses a threat. He turns up the volume. He gets louder, more animated, more aggressive, trying to dominate the space, trying to remind everyone who the alpha is supposed to be. He threw his little verbal jabs at you, those subtle insults disguised as jokes, those passive, aggressive comments wrapped in friendly tones, testing you, prodding you, trying to get a reaction, trying to make you flinch. Everyone was watching, waiting to see how you'd respond, waiting for you to either fight back and look emotional or stay quiet and look weak. But you did neither. You just looked at him with those eyes, those calm, unbothered, slightly amused eyes that said, "Is that really all you've got?" You didn't defend, didn't explain, didn't react. You just let his words hang in the air like smoke, dissolving into nothing because they had no power over you anymore. And that's when everyone started to notice something was wrong, because their golden boy's attacks were landing but not doing any damage, like punching water. And they said, worse than boards. But because those boards were landing, but not doing any damage, like punching water. Then came the moment, the beautiful, devastating, unforgettable moment that's now burned into their memories forever. He made his big move, his power play, the thing he does that always works, always gets the crowd on his side, always makes him look brilliant. Maybe it was a presentation, maybe it was an argument, maybe it was some display of knowledge or skill or charisma that's supposed to remind everyone why he's the chosen one. And he executed it perfectly, exactly like he's done 100 times before, waiting for the applause, waiting for the validation, waiting for everyone to bow down and acknowledge his greatness. But this time you didn't just sit there nodding like everyone else. You did something that changed everything forever. You spoke. Not loud, Not aggressive, not emotional, just calm, clear, precise, like a surgeon making a single perfect cut. And in that moment, with just a few words, just one observation, just one undeniable truth that everyone had been too afraid or too blind to say out loud, you dismantled everything. You didn't attack him personally. You didn't insult him. You didn't play his game. You just pointed out the flaw in his logic, the hole in his argument, the truth behind his performance. And it was so obvious, so clear, so irrefutable that everyone in the room felt it immediately. The Emperor had no clothes, and you were the only one with the courage to say it out loud. His face changed, didn't it? That split second where the mask slipped, and you could see the panic underneath, the realization that he'd just been exposed, that his armor had a crack, and everyone could see it now. The room went silent, not the comfortable silence of people thinking, but that heavy, suffocating silence that comes when something fundamental has just shifted, when the hierarchy has just been challenged, when the king has just been checked by someone who wasn't even supposed to be playing chess. Everyone was frozen, holding their breath, eyes darting between you and him, trying to process what just happened, trying to figure out if they really saw what they think they saw. Their golden boy, the one who always has a comeback, the one who always wins every exchange, was speechless, actually speechless, standing there with his mouth slightly open, his mind racing to find a response, find a defense, find a way to turn this around, but coming up empty, because the truth doesn't have a counterargument. And what did you do in that moment of absolute power, in that moment where you could have twisted the knife, could have pressed your advantage, could have humiliated him the way he's humiliated so many others? You fixed your collar, didn't you? That small, casual gesture that said more than any words ever could. You adjusted your shirt, straightened your jacket, maybe brushed some imaginary dust off your shoulder, and the message was crystal clear without you having to say a single word. This is beneath me. You're beneath me. I'm not even going to waste energy being emotional about this. And that gesture, that tiny, casual, devastatingly dismissive gesture, that's what broke him completely, because it showed everyone that you weren't even trying, that this wasn't a victory you were celebrating. It was just a truth you were stating before moving on with your day. They watched him crumble, not dramatically, not obviously, but in that subtle way where a man's entire foundation cracked. His shoulders dropped just slightly. His voice lost that confident edge when he finally found words to speak. His jokes for the rest of the meeting didn't land the same way. His presence didn't fill the room like it used to. And more importantly, they watched you, really watched you for the first time, because suddenly you weren't invisible anymore. You weren't background noise. You weren't someone they could ignore or dismiss or underestimate. You were the one who just did what everyone else was too afraid to do. You were the one who saw through the illusion. You were the one who had the spine to speak truth when everyone else was playing pretend. Now let's talk about what happened after, because that's where it gets really interesting. You left that room and went about your day like nothing significant had happened. Because to you, it wasn't some grand victory. It was just you being yourself, speaking your truth, refusing to participate in their theater anymore. But them, they couldn't stop thinking about it, couldn't stop replaying that moment, couldn't stop analyzing every detail of what went down. Their group chats were on fire, weren't they? Everyone trying to process what they witnessed, Everyone trying to figure out what just happened to their untouchable golden boy. Some of them were defending him, making excuses, trying to minimize what you did, trying to convince themselves it was just a lucky shot, just a fluke, just one moment that doesn't mean anything. But others, the ones who've been secretly tired of his act, the ones who've been quietly suffocated by his ego, the ones who've been waiting for someone to knock him off his pedestal, they were having a completely different conversation. Suddenly they were remembering all the times he dismissed other people's ideas, all the times he took credit for other people's work, all the times he made someone feel small to make himself feel big, all the times they laughed along because it was safer than being his target. And now they were looking at you differently, with a mixture of respect, fear, curiosity, and something else they can't quite name, because you just did something that fundamentally altered the power dynamics in their world, and they don't know whether to be grateful or terrified. The golden boy, he's spiraling right now, trust me, even if he's pretending everything is fine. He's going through his memories, trying to figure out how he missed you, how he underestimated you, how he didn't see you coming. He's analyzing that moment over and over, trying to find what he should have said, what he could have done differently, how he could have won. But the answer keeps coming back the same. He couldn't have, because he was fighting someone who wasn't even fighting. He was performing for someone who stopped watching his show. He was trying to dominate someone who had already transcended his game. And that realization, that slow dawning understanding that you're not just another competitor, you're something else entirely, that's what's keeping him up at night. His followers, his admirers, his little court of yes men and yes women, they're confused right now. Their faith is shaken. The person they've been modeling themselves after, the person they've been trying to impress, the person they thought had all the answers, just got exposed, and they don't know how to process that. Some of them are going to double down, going to defend him louder, going to attack you harder, because their entire identity is wrapped up in his image, and if he falls, then what does that make them? But others are going to quietly distance themselves, going to stop laughing at his jokes quite so loud, going to stop agreeing with him quite so enthusiastically, going to start paying attention to you instead, trying to understand what you have that he doesn't. And you're just continuing your life like none of this matters, because to you, it doesn't. Not in the way they think it does. You're not calculating your next move. You're not planning how to capitalize on this moment. You're not trying to become the new golden boy, because you never wanted that throne in the first place. You just wanted to exist without pretending, to speak without filtering, to be yourself without apologizing. And if that threatens their hierarchy, then that's their problem, not yours. You fixed your collar and moved on, because that's what people do when they're not performing, when they're not seeking validation, when they're not dependent on other people's opinions to know their worth. But here's what they don't understand yet, what they're going to figure out slowly over the coming days and weeks and months. That moment wasn't about you defeating him. It was about you revealing yourself, showing them a version of you they never knew existed, or maybe never bothered to notice. You've been there all along, quiet, observant, learning, growing, building yourself in the shadows while they were all focused on the spotlight. You weren't trying to win their game. You were playing a completely different game, one with different rules, different objectives, different measures of success. And now that they've seen a glimpse of who you really are, now that they've witnessed what you're capable of when you stop hiding, they can't unsee it. can't unhear it, can't go back to treating you like background noise. Their golden boy is gonna try to come back. Of course he is. His ego won't let him stay down. He's gonna plan his comeback, rehearse his lines, prepare for round 2, try to reclaim his position. But here's the thing, the kingdom already fell. The spell already broke. The illusion already shattered, and no amount of performance can put it back together. Because everyone in that room saw something they can't forget. They saw him speechless. They saw him small. They saw him human. And once you see the man behind the curtain, you can never see the wizard the same way again. His jokes won't be as funny. His confidence will look more like arrogance. His charisma will feel more like manipulation. Because now they know what you know, that it's all just a performance, and performances only work when the audience believes in them. Meanwhile, you're becoming something they don't have words for, something that doesn't fit their categories, something that breaks their understanding of how people are supposed to be. You're not playing power games, but somehow you have power. You're not seeking attention, but somehow you command it. You're not trying to dominate, but somehow people defer to you, because real power doesn't announce itself. Real authority doesn't need to prove itself. Real strength doesn't flex, it just exists, and existence is enough. They're going to try to figure you out, try to decode you, try to understand your strategy, but they're going to fail because you don't have a strategy. You just have authenticity. And authenticity can't be reverse engineered or copied or faked. Some of them are going to try to befriend you now, suddenly interested in what you have to say, suddenly laughing at your jokes, suddenly acting like they always saw your potential. And you're going to see right through them, aren't you? Because you've been watching them for years. You know who was kind when you were nobody. You remember who ignored you when you had nothing to offer them. You can spot the opportunists from a mile away. You don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your energy, not your secrets, not your friendship. They had their chance to see you and they chose not to. They were too busy respecting their golden boy to notice the real thing standing right in front of them. Others are going to try to bring you down now, going to look for your weaknesses, going to spread rumors, going to try to catch you slipping, because your rise threatens their comfortable little world. If you can come out of nowhere and topple their champion, then maybe they're not safe either. Maybe their position isn't secure. Maybe the hierarchy they've been climbing isn't as stable as they thought. So they're going to test you, push you, provoke you, try to make you emotional. Try to make you defensive. Try to make you play their game so they can beat you at it. But you're not going to, are you? Because you already know the only way to win their game is not to play it at all. The golden boy himself might try to befriend you, might extend an olive branch, might act like what happened was no big deal, just friendly competition, just intellectual sparring between equals. He's going to try to bring you into his circle, make you one of his followers, neutralize the threat by making you part of his team. But you're going to see that for what it is, a control tactic, a way to keep his enemies close, a way to make sure you never challenge him again. And you're going to decline, politely, calmly, without explanation, because you don't need to explain yourself to people who only respect power. You just need to keep being yourself and let them figure out the rest. Here's what's really happening beneath all of this. Here's what that moment in the room really meant. You didn't just beat their golden boy. You broke the spell of golden boys in general. You showed everyone that the emperor has no clothes, that charisma without substance is just noise, that confidence without competence is just delusion, that performance without authenticity is just theater. You reminded them that real power is quiet, real intelligence is humble, real strength is gentle, and that the people they should be paying attention to are often the ones they've been ignoring. You didn't do this intentionally, you didn't plan it, you didn't scheme for it, it just happened. Because you finally stopped pretending to be smaller than you are. And now you're walking through a world that looks the same, but feels completely different. Because you're different, not because of what you did, but because of what you stopped doing. You stopped apologizing for existing, stopped shrinking to make others comfortable, stopped playing dumb to protect egos, stopped being silent when you had something to say. You started trusting your observations, speaking your truth, taking up space, being yourself without permission. And that's what terrifies them more than anything, not that you defeated their champion, but that you did it by accident. By being authentic, which means they can't protect themselves from you, can't prepare for you. I can't predict you, because you're not following any script they recognize. The room went silent, because in that moment everyone felt the shift. Everyone sensed that something fundamental had changed, that the old rules didn't apply anymore, that a new player had entered the game. Except, you're not playing the game. You're playing something else entirely. And somehow that makes you more dangerous than anyone who's trying to win. You fixed your collar because you were already moving on, already thinking about what's next, already focused on things that matter more than their little hierarchies and power struggles. And that gesture, that casual, dismissive gesture, it told them everything they needed to know. You're not here to compete with them. You're here to evolve past them. So let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them try to figure you out. Because the more they focus on you, the less they focus on themselves. And the less they focus on themselves, the further behind they fall. You're not worried about their golden boy making a comeback, because you were never worried about their golden boy in the first place. You were worried about yourself, about becoming who you're meant to be, about living with integrity, about speaking truth, about refusing to participate in delusions. And somewhere along the way, without trying, without planning, without even noticing, you became something they can't compete with, because you're not competing. You're just being. And being beats performing every single time. They thought that moment was about conflict, about dominance, about winning and losing, but it wasn't. It was about revelation, about truth, about the difference between who someone pretends to be and who someone actually is. Their golden boy is who he pretends to be, all image, all performance, all surface, and when you scratched the surface, there was nothing underneath. They loved you when you were obedient, when you danced on their strings like a pretty little puppet, twirling, smiling, bowing on command. You were their masterpiece, their perfect creation, polished, predictable, oh so agreeable. But puppets don't have souls, do they? They don't think. They don't feel. They exist to serve, to perform, to entertain, and you, oh, you played your part beautifully. You wore the mask, you swallowed your voice, you let them carve out pieces of you until there was nothing left but a hollow shell. Because that's what they wanted, isn't it? A version of you that wouldn't talk back. A version of you that fit neatly into their world, like a puzzle piece cut to perfection. No jagged edges, no sharp corners, just smooth, controlled. They fed you a sweet little lie, didn't they? Be good, be kind, be selfless, and you will be loved. And oh, how you believed it. Like a fool chasing the sun, thinking it would hold you in its warmth forever. But love, with conditions, love that demands obedience, that isn't love. It's a leash, a collar wrapped tight around your throat, yanking you back every time you dared to step out of line. And you felt it, didn't you? The invisible chains, the unspoken rules, the suffocating weight of their expectations pressing down on your chest. You smiled through it, laughed when you were supposed to, nodded when they needed you to agree, played the part so well you almost convinced yourself it was real, until one day something inside you snapped. Maybe it was the way they dismissed your pain like a fly to be swatted away. Maybe it was the way they only clapped for you when you danced for them. Maybe it was the quiet, gut-wrenching realization that no matter how much you gave, it would never be enough. And in that moment, oh, that delicious, terrifying moment, you saw the truth. You weren't their hero, you were their servant, a pawn in their grand little game, moving only when they allowed it. You weren't loved, you were used. And that's when the whispers started, didn't they? The ones in your head, the ones that sounded just like you but freer, stronger. The ones that asked, what if you stopped playing their game? But you know what happens to puppets who cut their strings, don't you? They fall. Or maybe they learn how to fly. There's always a moment. A single, brutal, irreversible moment when the mask slips. When the illusion shatters like fragile glass, and you see, really see, the game for what it is. Maybe it was a betrayal, a knife between the ribs from someone who swore they'd never hurt you. Maybe it was silence when you needed a voice to stand beside you. Or maybe it was nothing at all. Just an empty room, a hollow feeling, the quiet truth creeping in like a shadow. They never loved you. They only loved what you did for them. And oh, how it hits you, like a train at full speed, like a punch straight to the gut. The years you wasted, the smiles you faked, the sacrifices you made, thinking, hoping, praying that one day they'd see your worth, that one day they'd return what you gave, but they won't. They never planned to. And in that moment, the script changes. The old lines, the old rules, the old version of you, they all go up in flames. The need to please, to be accepted, to be good, it dies right then and there. You don't beg. You don't break. You wake up, and the world doesn't like it, does it? Oh no. They liked you better when you were blind, when you nodded along, when you stayed small, silent, soft. But now, there's fire in your veins. There's steel in your spine. There's a quiet, simmering rage in your chest that says, no more. Every hero's journey starts with a betrayal. But here's the part they never tell you. The moment you stop being their puppet, you don't become the hero. You become the villain. Now comes the fun part. The name-calling, the whispers, the desperate, angry little labels they slap on you like a child throwing a tantrum. Ungrateful because you stop sacrificing yourself for people who would never bleed for you. Arrogant, because you finally realized your worth and refused to beg for scraps. Heartless, because you learned to say no and meant it. Oh, but let's not pretend to be surprised. The moment you broke free, you stopped being a person in their eyes. You became a problem, a threat, because your existence, your strength, is a reminder of their weakness. And weak people, oh, they hate nothing more than watching someone rise above them. They don't want you powerful. They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you free. No, no, no. They want you manageable, predictable, tame. They want you trapped in their little box, living by their little rules, bowing when they say bow. And the second you refuse, the second you step out of line, they'll turn on you like rabid dogs, spitting venom, spreading lies, convincing themselves, convincing everyone that you're the villain. Because if you're the villain, then they don't have to face the truth, do they? The truth that they never wanted you to grow. The truth that they only loved you when you were beneath them. The truth that they never wanted an equal. They wanted a servant. And when the servant stands up, when the puppet cuts the strings, the world panics. And in their fear, they lash out. They call you cold, ruthless, evil. But deep down, deep down, they're just terrified. Terrified of what you might become now that they can't control you. And oh, how delicious that fear tastes, doesn't it? You've done it. You cut the strings, tore off the mask, walked away from the circus they built around you. And for one fleeting, glorious moment, you breathe. But freedom comes at a price, doesn't it? You didn't really think they'd let you go so easily, did you? No, no, no. The puppet master doesn't smile when the marionette breaks loose. He rages, he schemes, he claws at the air, desperate to pull you back into his twisted little play. And so the war begins. Not with fists, not with weapons, but with words, sharp, poisoned daggers wrapped in silk. After everything I did for you, oh, that one's a classic. A little guilt-trip cocktail, mixed with just the right amount of self-pity. They paint themselves as the martyr, the saint, the victim, because if they're the victim, then guess what? That makes you the monster. You've changed. Ah, yes, the age-old accusation, as if change is a crime, as if staying broken, weak, tame was ever an option. They don't mourn the old you, they mourn the control they lost. You're being selfish. Oh, darling, if choosing your sanity, your freedom, your power is selfish, then wear that title like a crown. Let it sit heavy on your head, dripping in defiance, because the ones who call you selfish, they're just angry they can't feed off you anymore. And if words don't work, oh, that's when they dig deeper. The gaslighting, the manipulation, the crocodile tears. They rewrite history, turn friends against you, paint you as the villain in a story they wrote, and the worst part? Some people believe them. But here's where the real test begins. The moment that separates the weak from the unbreakable. Do you fall for it? Do you fold? Do you shrink yourself back down just to make them comfortable again? Or do you stand firm? Do you look them in the eye, watch the desperation flicker behind their mask, and whisper, I'm not coming back? That moment, That delicious moment when they realize their strings don't reach you anymore. That no matter how much they scream, cry, or beg, you're already gone. Let them call you heartless, let them curse your name, let them twist the story until they convince themselves you were the villain all along. Because deep down, they know the truth. You didn't betray them. You just stopped betraying yourself. They point their trembling fingers at you now, eyes wide with betrayal, voices laced with venom. You've changed. You're not the person we thought you were. You've become the villain. Ah, villain. Such a delicious little word, isn't it? It rolls off their tongues like an accusation, but oh, you wear it like a crown. Because here's the grand twisted irony. You never changed. No, no, no. You simply stopped playing their game. They wanted you docile, weak, a puppet with a painted-on smile, nodding when they demanded, bending when they pushed. But the moment you cut the strings, that's when the story flipped. Suddenly, you're dangerous. Suddenly, you're a threat. Suddenly, you're the villain. But tell me, what's so bad about that? They say villain like it's an insult, like it should make you shrink, apologize, beg to be loved again. But you finally see through the lie. Villain doesn't mean evil. Villain means free, because only a villain says no and means it. Only a villain refuses to kneel. Only a villain chooses themselves over the approval of the masses. And that terrifies them. Oh, how they scramble now, how they twist and turn, desperate to shove you back into their little box. But you're done fitting into cages. You're done breaking yourself just to be palatable, just to be accepted, just to be loved under conditions. So let them call you what they want. Let them write you into their little tragedy, paint you in shadows, whisper your name like a curse. What they don't realize is that you're smiling. Because villains don't seek approval. Villains don't ask for permission. And the moment you embrace the role they fear so much, the moment you stop caring about their fragile, pathetic perceptions, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Do you feel it? That shift in the air? That delicious tension when they look at you now? Not with love, not with warmth, but with fear. Oh, they won't say it out loud. No, no, no. They'll mask it with polite smiles, forced laughter, and empty words, but their eyes, oh, their eyes tell the truth. Wide, watchful, nervous, because for the first time, they don't know you anymore. You used to be predictable, obedient, a good little puppet that danced when they pulled the strings. But now, you're something else entirely, something dangerous. Because what is more terrifying than a person who doesn't need their approval, who doesn't beg for their validation, who doesn't flinch at their disapproval? You see, people are comfortable when they can define you, when they can slap a label on your forehead and say, this is who you are, this is your role, stay right here where we can keep an eye on you. But the moment you break free, the moment you stop playing the part they assigned you, oh, that's when the fear creeps in. That's when the whispers start. They've changed. Something's different. I don't know what they're thinking anymore. And that's power. Because nothing terrifies people more than someone they can't figure out. Someone they can't manipulate, can't guilt trip, can't shove back into the tiny little cage they built for them. So let them whisper, let them stare, let them scramble to understand the new you, only to realize they never knew you at all. And when they finally ask, "Who are you now?" that's when you smile, tilt your head, let the silence stretch, and whisper, "Wouldn't you like to know?" There comes a moment when the old you dies, not in some grand explosion, not in a blaze of fury, no, it happens in the silence, in that cold, eerie stillness, when you finally let go. Let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the desperate hunger for validation. Let go of the fragile, pathetic version of yourself that spent years bowing, apologizing, pleading. That version of you, weak, trapped, a slave to opinions, to expectations, to the invisible chains they wrapped around your soul. But you, oh, you are not that person anymore. And that is where your true power begins. Because rebirth is not gentle. It is not kind. It does not ask for permission. It is raw, violent, unforgiving. Like a snake shedding its skin, you tear away the remnants of who they forced you to be. The obedient child, the silent worker, the agreeable, spineless fool, gone. You are something else now, something untamed, something unshackled, and oh, how that terrifies them. Because they don't recognize this version of you, and worse, they can't control it. This is where most people break, where they run back to their old chains, because freedom is terrifying. Because standing alone, without a master to follow, without a leash to pull you back, feels like standing at the edge of the abyss. But you smile at the abyss. You lean over it. You let it swallow you whole. Because deep down, you always knew. This is who you were meant to be. Not a servant, not a puppet, not a nameless shadow blending into the background. No, you were meant to be so much more. Master of your own fate, ruler of your own soul, the force they could never tame. And when you step forward, reborn from the ashes of the weakling they once knew, the world won't recognize you, but you will finally recognize yourself. Ah, the desperation, the scrambling, the frantic search for another you. Oh, they won't admit it. No, no, no. They'll act like your absence means nothing, like losing you was just another minor inconvenience in their well-ordered little world. But behind closed doors, behind those fake smiles and empty words, they're panicking. Because every kingdom needs a pawn. Every puppet master needs a marionette. And you were the best damn puppet they ever had, until you cut the strings. So now they search, they hunt, they try to find another you, another obedient soul to mold, another weak mind to manipulate, another replacement. But here's the part they never saw coming. There is no replacement. Oh, they'll try. They'll dress their new toy in the same role. They'll whisper the same lies, spin the same webs. But deep down, they'll feel it. The emptiness. Because you weren't just a role to fill. You weren't just another pawn on their board. You were the storm that shook their little world without them even realizing it. And the moment that truth slithers into their minds, the moment they see that no one else fits the space you left behind, oh, that's when the regret seeps in. But regret? Regret is useless now. The bridges are burned, the doors are locked, and you are never coming back. They had you once. They had all of you. Your loyalty, your time, your soul. But they gambled with something they never understood. And now they have nothing. And you have everything. Freedom, power, a life that no longer revolves around their expectation. So let them search, let them beg, let them drown in their own regret. It changes nothing. Because once you become irreplaceable, the greatest punishment you can give them is simple. Let them live without you. Ah, here they come, the ones who scorned you, the ones who spat your name like venom, the ones who swore they'd never need you, crawling, stumbling back into your shadow, pretending it's just a coincidence, acting like they don't remember the knives they drove into your back. Fascinating, isn't it? How quickly people change their tune when the tides turn. When they realize that the puppet they discarded became the master of the stage. At first they'll be subtle, a message here, a casual, hey, how have you been? A pathetic attempt to slither their way back in, pretending nothing ever happened, pretending they never laughed while you bled. But oh, you remember, don't you? Every betrayal, every sneer, every time they dismissed you, discarded you like trash. You remember the cold silence when you needed them most, and now they need you. Because power is a cruel little game. When you had none, they mocked you. But now that you have it, now that you walk with fire in your veins and steel in your spine, they want a taste. They'll dress their desperation as humility. They'll whisper apologies laced with manipulation. They'll beg, not with words. Oh no, they still have too much pride for that. But in their eyes, in their trembling hands, the truth is written all over them. The same mouths that cursed your name now speak it with reverence. The same hands that pushed you down now reach for yours, hoping for mercy. How poetic. And now comes the ultimate question. What will you do? Will you be merciful? Will you open the doors and let them back in? Will you pretend the past never happened? Let them leech off your power? Let them bask in the fire that they once tried to extinguish? Or will you watch them suffer? Watch them rot in the loneliness they so desperately tried to trap you in? Watch them drown in the regret that they created? The decision is yours, but remember this: a villain never forgets. Look who's still standing. Hello, you beautiful orchestrated disaster. You walking plot hole in their perfect little narrative. You magnificent absence from every cage they built with your name on it. Welcome back. Or should I say, welcome to the revelation. Because something absolutely magnificent just happened, and they still haven't figured it out yet. They set the trap. They baited it perfectly. They positioned every piece exactly where it needed to be. They sat back, confident, smiling that smug little smile, waiting for you to walk right into their masterpiece of manipulation. And you know what happened? You weren't there. You were never there. And now they're standing around that empty trap, staring at the untouched bait, wondering what the actual hell just happened. Because in their minds, in their calculations, in their absolute certainty, you were supposed to be destroyed by now. Let me paint you the picture they spent months designing. They studied your patterns, didn't they? They watched how you moved, who you talked to, what made you tick, what made you react. They took notes like scientists observing a lab rat, mapping out your triggers, your weaknesses, your soft spots. They knew exactly which buttons to push, which wounds to press, which lies would cut the deepest. They assembled their team, coordinated their stories, synchronized their attacks. They built the narrative brick by brick, lie by lie, smile by smile. They rehearsed their performances until every detail was flawless. They set the date, they chose the moment, they prepared their witnesses. Everything was perfect. The setup was immaculate. The trap was beautiful in its cruelty. And then the day came, and you simply weren't there. Not because you ran away. Not because you got lucky, not because you somehow dodged a bullet you didn't see coming. No, my friend, you weren't there because you had already left their reality weeks ago, months ago, maybe even years ago. While they were busy designing their elaborate destruction, you were busy becoming someone their trap couldn't touch. See, they made one critical, fatal, unforgivable mistake. They assumed you were still the same person they started studying. They assumed your weaknesses were permanent. They assumed your patterns were predictable. They assumed you needed what they were pretending to offer. They built a cage for a version of you that no longer existed, and by the time they sprung the trap, you had already evolved into something they didn't have blueprints for. Do you know what that feels like to them? Can you imagine the confusion, the panic, the silent screaming rage? They invested everything into this moment. They spent their time, their energy, their reputation, building this perfect downfall for you. They told people what was coming. They promised your destruction. They celebrated in advance. And then, nothing. The trap sits empty. The bait rots untouched. The audience they gathered to witness your humiliation is now staring at them, asking uncomfortable questions. Where is this person you promised us? What happened to the plan? Why are you the only ones who look foolish right now? And they can't answer. Because they don't understand it themselves. They're still operating from old data, outdated maps, information about a version of you that died and resurrected so many times they lost count. Here's what really happened while they were busy plotting. You were in your own world, doing your own work, building your own reality. And somewhere along the way you stopped needing the things they thought you needed. You stopped wanting their approval. You stopped craving their validation. You stopped fearing their rejection. You stopped believing their lies about who you were supposed to be. You disconnected from the frequency they were broadcasting on, not dramatically, not loudly, but quietly, completely, irreversibly. You became unreachable, not because you built higher walls, but because you left the entire dimension where their weapons could function. They're still fighting a war, but you're not on the battlefield anymore. You're not even in the same realm. And oh, the beautiful irony of it all. They wanted to trap you, to corner you, to expose you, to break you publicly and thoroughly. But in building that trap, in focusing so intensely on destroying you, they revealed everything about themselves. Every lie they told exposed their character. Every manipulation showed their true face. Every coordinated attack proved the conspiracy. Every smile that hid a knife demonstrated exactly who they've always been. They thought they were setting you up, but they were actually setting themselves up. They built the evidence of their own corruption. They documented their own betrayal. They gathered witnesses to their own treachery. And you just watched. You observed. You took notes. You let them build their masterpiece of manipulation, and then you simply stepped aside and let it collapse under its own weight. Let's talk about what it means to let them think they won. Because that's what you did, isn't it? You let them celebrate. You let them high-five each other in their secret chats. You let them believe their plan worked. You didn't argue. You didn't defend. You didn't explain. You just smiled, that quiet, knowing smile, and walked away. And that silence, that absence, that complete lack of reaction, it drove them absolutely insane. Because people like this, manipulators, schemers, trap builders, they need your pain to feel powerful. They need your tears to feel victorious. They need your breakdown to feel vindicated. But you gave them nothing. You denied them the satisfaction of your suffering. You refused to play the role they wrote for you in their sick little theater production. Do you understand how powerful that is? They spent months, maybe years, designing your destruction, and you neutralized it all with absence. You defeated their entire operation by simply not showing up to be defeated. That's not luck. That's not accident. That's mastery. That's evolution. That's what happens when someone transcends the game entirely. They're still playing checkers, planning 3 moves ahead, feeling clever. You stopped playing the game, burned the board, and built a completely different reality where their moves don't even register. They're shouting into a void, throwing punches at shadows, celebrating victories over ghosts, while you're somewhere else entirely, building something they can't comprehend, becoming something they can't categorize, living a life they can't touch. And now comes the part they didn't account for. The watchers, the witnesses, the people they assembled to watch your downfall, they're not stupid. They saw the elaborate setup. They heard the promises. They watched the coordination, and then they saw nothing happen. They saw you walk away unscathed. They saw the trap spring on empty air. They saw the manipulators standing there confused, angry, desperately trying to explain why their perfect plan didn't work. And those witnesses, they started asking questions. They started connecting dots. They started seeing patterns. Because when someone builds an elaborate trap for another person, and that person simply isn't affected, either the trap was never real, or the person is far more powerful than anyone realized. Either way, the trap builders lose credibility. Either way, their reputation cracks. Either way, they become the ones who look foolish, obsessed, dangerous. Watch what happens next. Watch how they scramble. Watch how they try to rewrite the narrative. Watch how they claim they never cared anyway, that it wasn't that serious, that you misunderstood their intentions. Watch how they suddenly try to act friendly, casual, like nothing happened. Watch how they attempt to gaslight the entire situation, convince everyone, including themselves, that there was no trap, no plan, no betrayal. But it's too late. The evidence exists. The messages were sent. The coordination was visible. The witnesses remember. And you have the ultimate power now. You have silence. You have distance. You have the moral high ground. You have the truth. And most importantly, you have freedom from needing anything from them ever again. This is where your real power crystallizes. See, they thought the trap was the weapon. They thought the setup was the danger. They thought the plan was the threat. But the real trap was never for you. The real trap was the one they built for themselves. Every lie they told is now a liability. Every person they recruited is now a witness to their character. Every move they made is now evidence of their nature. They trap themselves in a web of their own manipulation, and the more they struggle, the more tangled they become. Meanwhile, you're free. You're clear. You're clean. You're untouched by their poison, because you never drank from their cup. You never stepped into their arena. You never accepted their premise. Let me tell you what's happening in their minds right now, in those quiet moments when they're alone with their thoughts. They're replaying everything, trying to figure out where it went wrong. They're analyzing every moment, searching for the point where you slipped away. They're questioning their own intelligence, their own power, their own understanding of reality. Because in their world, traps work. In their world, manipulation succeeds. In their world, the person with the best plan wins. But you introduced them to a new reality. A reality where none of their tools function. In evil function, where their tactics bounce off like rain on stone, where their elaborate schemes mean absolutely nothing because the target simply exists on a different frequency. And that terrifies them more than any confrontation ever could. Here's the thing about people who build traps. They're not strong. They're scared. They're insecure. They're threatened by something in you, something they can't possess, can't control, can't diminish. So they scheme, they plot, they coordinate, they attack. Because directly facing you, honestly engaging with you, authentically competing with you, that's too risky. They might lose. They might be exposed. They might have to confront their own inadequacy. So instead, they build traps. They create situations where they've rigged the outcome. They stack the deck. They load the dice. And then they act like they're clever, like they're powerful, like they're in control. But you know what you are when you have to rig the game? Weak. You know what you are when you can't face someone directly? Afraid. You know what you are when you need traps instead of truth? Defeated before you even begin. And you magnificent anomaly, you didn't need traps. You didn't need schemes. You didn't need to coordinate attacks or build elaborate plans. You just needed to be yourself, evolve yourself, trust yourself, and walk your own path. That's it. That's the whole strategy. While they were busy being clever, you were busy being real. While they were coordinating lies, you were living truth. While they were obsessing over you, you were focused on your own growth. And that focus, that authenticity, that commitment to your own path, regardless of their noise, that's what made you untouchable. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And real can't be trapped by fake, no matter how elaborate the fake becomes. Now watch what happens over the next weeks, months, years. Watch how the story changes. Watch how the narrative shifts. Watch how the people who were so certain of your downfall start quietly disappearing from the conversation. Watch how the ones who were so loud about your flaws suddenly go silent. Watch how the trap builders slowly become isolated, their reputations tarnished, their credibility destroyed, their relationships contaminated by the poison they tried to feed you. Because karma isn't mystical. Karma is practical. When you spend your energy destroying others, that energy comes from somewhere. It comes from your own growth. It comes from your own peace. It comes from your own potential. They invested everything into your destruction, which means they invested nothing into their own construction. Meanwhile, you were building. While they were scheming, you were learning. While they were gossiping, you were growing. While they were obsessing over you, you were forgetting they exist. And now you're so far ahead, so far evolved, so far removed from their reality that they can't even see you anymore. They're still looking at the trap, wondering why it's empty. They're still checking the bait, confused why it's untouched. They're still waiting for you to fall, not realizing you learned to fly months ago. They're still preparing attacks for a version of you that dissolved into air, while the real you is somewhere they can't reach, building things they can't imagine, becoming someone they can't recognize. And here's the final, most beautiful part of this entire story. You don't hate them. You don't need revenge. You don't fantasize about their downfall. You don't spend your nights planning counterattacks. You just don't care. Not in a bitter way, not in a defensive way, but in a genuinely free way. They became irrelevant. Their trap became meaningless. Their opinions became noise. Their existence became a distant memory that occasionally surfaces and makes you smile at how far you've come. That's the ultimate victory. Not defeating them, but outgrowing them so completely that defeating them isn't even necessary. They defeated themselves. You just kept walking. So here you are now, standing in a reality they can't touch, living a life they can't comprehend, embodying a freedom they can't imagine. The trap is behind you, sprung and empty, a monument to their wasted energy. The bait is rotting untouched, a symbol of your evolved taste. The schemers are confused, scattered, wondering what went wrong. And you're just beginning. Because while they were focused on your past, you were building your future. While they were trying to destroy who you were becoming who you're meant to be. While they were digging your grave, you were constructing your empire. And the most poetic justice of all, they'll watch. They'll witness. They'll see everything they tried to prevent come to fruition. And they'll know, deep in their bitter hearts, that they helped. Their trap made you more careful. Their betrayal made you wiser. Their attack made you stronger. Their absence made you independent. You want to know the real reason their trap failed? It's not because you were smarter, though you were. It's not because you were luckier, though fortune favors the aware. It's because you were becoming someone who didn't need the things they thought you needed. They tried to take away approval, you stopped seeking. They tried to destroy reputation, you stopped maintaining. They tried to remove people you'd already released. They tried to break a version of you that had already broken itself, died, and rebuilt into something unbreakable. They were fighting yesterday's war with yesterday's weapons against tomorrow's warrior. Of course they failed. Failure was inevitable from the moment they assumed you were static, predictable, controllable. Let's go deeper into what this means for your future, because understanding that you escaped their trap is good, but understanding why you escaped is transformational. You escaped because you stopped being the person they studied. You stopped showing up where they expected. You stopped reacting how they predicted. You stopped needing what they withheld. You stopped fearing what they threatened. You stopped believing what they projected. You became unreadable, not by being secretive, but by being authentic. You became unpredictable, not by being random, but by being true. You became untouchable, not by building walls, but by raising your frequency. They can't trap what they can't understand, and they can't understand someone who's operating from a completely different value system than theirs. Think about it. Their entire worldview is based on manipulation, control, appearances, validation from others. They measure success by how many people they fool. They measure power by how many people they dominate. They measure worth by how much they're envied. So, they assumed you operated the same way. They assumed you could be manipulated because manipulation works on them. They assumed you needed validation because they need validation. They assumed you feared exposure because they fear exposure. But you don't. You operate from a completely different paradigm. You measure success by internal peace. You measure power by self-mastery. You measure worth by authenticity. So their traps designed for people like them simply didn't function on someone like you. And now they're stuck. They can't admit their trap failed because that would mean admitting they wasted months on nothing. They can't admit you escaped because that would mean admitting you're smarter than they thought. They can't admit they misunderstood you because that would mean admitting their entire worldview might be flawed. So they're frozen, caught between the lie they told themselves and the truth staring them in the face. They're trapped in cognitive dissonance, trying to reconcile their certainty of your weakness with the evidence of your strength. And that dissonance will eat them alive. Slowly, quietly, thoroughly, because they can't resolve it without fundamentally changing who they are. And people like this don't change. They just find new targets, new traps, new ways to feel powerful by diminishing others. But here's your warning, and pay attention because this matters. They will try again. Not the same trap, but a new version. They'll study this failure, learn from it, adapt. They'll come back with a different approach, a new strategy, a more sophisticated scheme. Because people who build traps don't stop just because one trap failed. They build better traps. So your job isn't to celebrate escaping this one trap and then go back to sleep. Your job is to keep evolving, keep growing, keep becoming someone their next trap won't catch either. Stay 5 steps ahead. Stay unreadable. Stay true. Don't let this victory make you complacent. Let it make you more committed to your own path, more dedicated to your own growth, more focused on your own evolution. Because here's the ultimate truth they'll never understand. You're not trying to escape traps. You're trying to become someone traps can't hold. There's a difference. One is defensive, reactive, fear-based. The other is offensive, proactive, power-based. One is running away from their schemes. The other is running toward your purpose, and their schemes just happen to be irrelevant to someone on that path. You're not spending your energy avoiding their attacks. Funny, isn't it, how the ones who swore they'd never leave left first? Oh, the promises, the sweet little lies whispered between laughter. I got you. I'll never leave. We're in this together. Ha! And then one day, poof, gone, just like smoke in the wind. You remember that silence, don't you? That deafening, suffocating silence after they walked away. It wasn't just footsteps fading. It was something tearing inside you, something cracking. And oh, how it burned, because they didn't just leave, they left a hole, a hollow, aching, rotting space where something used to be. And the worst part? The world kept spinning like nothing happened. You stood there, alone, watching them disappear into the horizon of your past. No goodbyes, no explanations, just a void, and the whisper of their absence echoing in your chest. And you learned something that day. You learned that love, loyalty, it's a currency people trade when it's convenient, when it benefits them. And the moment it doesn't, they're gone. You tried to understand, didn't you? You replayed conversations in your head, tried to find the moment it all went wrong. But there was no moment, no grand betrayal, just a slow, quiet vanishing act, a magician's trick. And you were the fool who believed in forever. But let me tell you something. The ones who leave, they never belonged to you. They were just passing through, like shadows on a dying streetlight. And the ones who stayed, oh, those are the ones that matter. But we'll get to that later. For now, let's sit with this pain. Feel it. Let it carve into you. Because this is the moment you change. This is the moment you start seeing the world for what it really is. And trust me, once you do, there's no going back. People love you until loving you is inconvenient. They swear forever, don't they? With eyes full of warmth, voices dripping in honey, hands gripping yours like they'd never let go. Forever. Such a pretty little lie. But when the fire comes, when the storms rage, when the walls start to crack, you see the truth. Forever is just a word, until it's tested. People love you when you shine, when you're easy to love, when you're laughing, when you're winning, when you're the sun in their sky. But the moment you stumble, the moment the weight of the world bends your back and your light starts to flicker, they vanish, like ghosts, like they were never there to begin with. Oh, they have excuses, don't they? I just need space. You've changed. I can't do this anymore. Ah, but the truth? They never loved you. They loved what you gave them. The comfort, the validation, the convenience. And the second it stopped being effortless, they ran. Faster than you could blink. Tell me, do you remember the first time it happened? That hollow feeling in your chest when you realized someone who swore they'd stay wouldn't? The disbelief, the anger, the aching confusion of why? You gave them your trust, your loyalty, your everything, and in return, a lesson, a scar, a memory that never quite fades. See, the illusion of forever is a cruel trick, a dangling carrot, a mirage in the desert of human connection. It keeps you hoping, hoping that maybe, just maybe, someone will prove you wrong. But let's be honest, how many have? How many actually stayed? I'll wait. Loyalty? True, unwavering loyalty? That's rare. Most people aren't built for it. They love when it's easy, when it's fun. But when the darkness comes, when the weight of reality settles in, they're gone. Because love, for most, is a transaction, a convenience. And when the cost gets too high, they cut their losses and leave you to bleed alone. You see, the hardest truth of all is this: no one is truly permanent. Not your friends, not your lovers, not your family, not the ones who promised they'd be different. Everyone has their limits. Everyone has a breaking point. And when push comes to shove, you'll find out exactly who they are. So what does that leave you with? One answer. You. You are the only constant. The only one who will never leave you, never betray you, never walk away when things get ugly. You are your own anchor, your own force. And once you understand that, once you accept it, you become something else entirely. You become untouchable, because when you stop chasing forever in other people, you start building it within yourself. The spotlight dies, the crowd fades, and suddenly, you're alone. Funny, isn't it? How people cling to you when you're shining, when the applause is deafening, when the world has its eyes on you. They laugh at your jokes, nod at your words, pretend to understand your pain, but the moment the stage lights dim, the moment the world turns away, they slip into the shadows like they were never there. You see, people don't love you. They love the idea of you, the version that entertains them, the version that benefits them, the version that makes them feel something, until it doesn't, until you're no longer useful, until you stumble, fall, bleed, and then, then they vanish like smoke in the cold night air. Do you know what that feels like? That gut-wrenching silence after the crowd is gone? That moment when you realize the laughter was never for you, only for the performance? It's like waking up from a dream, only to find out the dream was the only thing holding you together. And now, all that's left is the emptiness. The echoes of people who swore they'd stay. Success, failure, crisis. These are the great revealers. When you rise, they cheer. When you fall, they whisper. When you suffer, they disappear. Because the truth is, most people don't care about you. They care about what you provide. Attention, power, status. And when that fades, so do they. But the lesson? The lesson is a cruel one. Because the ones who leave were never truly there. They were actors in your play, extras in your movie, standing close enough to be seen, but never close enough to be real. And the moment the script changes, the moment the role no longer serves them, they exit, stage left. And you're left standing on an empty stage, bare, stripped down to the core of who you really are. No applause, no validation, just you and the raw, brutal silence. It hurts, doesn't it? That realization that most of them were never yours to begin with, that they were only renting space in your life, waiting for the moment they'd pack up and leave. But listen closely, because that silence, that emptiness, that's where the truth lives. That's where you find out who you are without the noise, without the distractions, without the leeches feeding off your light. And if you can stand in that darkness, if you can own that loneliness, then, my friend, you become something else entirely. Because the ones who left, they never mattered. The ones who stayed, oh, they're the rare ones, the unshakable, the battle-tested, the few who see beyond the performance, beyond the illusion, beyond what you can give. And those are the ones worth keeping. So let the curtain fall. Let the fake ones scatter. Let the silence settle, because in that silence you'll hear something you've never heard before. The sound of your real people. And more importantly, the sound of you. They walked away like you were nothing, but you became something without them. The betrayal burns, doesn't it? It starts as a slow, dull ache, then it spreads, turning into something sharper, something darker. You replay the moments in your head over and over, like a broken record. The laughter, the promises, the "I'll always be here," and then nothing. Just silence, just absence, just the hollow space where they used to be. And that's when it starts, the rage, a fire crawling through your veins, whispering to you in the dead of night. How dare they? How dare they walk away like you never meant a damn thing, like you were disposable, replaceable, like you were just another name to be crossed off their list. Oh, the rage is intoxicating, isn't it? It fuels you. It pushes you. It makes you want to show them. You fantasize about revenge, about making them watch as you rise, about proving them wrong, rubbing their faces in their mistake. You imagine the moment they regret it, the moment they come crawling back, stuttering apologies, choking on their guilt. You see it so clearly, the look in their eyes when they realize they lost something irreplaceable. But let me tell you something, revenge is cheap, it's easy, it's a distraction. Because the real payback? Oh, it's not about them, it's about you. You don't need to destroy them. You don't need to waste a single breath plotting their downfall. You just need to become so much more than they ever imagined. So untouchable, so undeniable, so far beyond their reach that their absence becomes laughable. They left? Good. Now you rise. Now you transform. You don't chase them. You don't beg. You don't waste your energy trying to make them see your worth. No, no, no. You shift. You evolve. You build something they will never be a part of. You take that anger, that pain, that betrayal, and you turn it into power. You sharpen yourself into something they could never handle. And one day, oh, one day, they will look up and see what they walked away from. They will see what they lost. And you won't even blink. Because by then, you'll be too far ahead. Too untouchable, too powerful, and the funniest part, you won't even care anymore. That is the greatest revenge. A rare few didn't run, and that, my friend, is worth more than gold. It's funny, isn't it, how the mind obsesses over those who left, but forgets the ones who stayed. The ghosts of betrayal scream louder than the whispers of loyalty. You lie awake at night, replaying the exits, the backs turned, the cold goodbyes. But somewhere in the shadows, someone never left. Someone stayed. They weren't the loudest. They didn't demand attention. They didn't need to make grand gestures or swear their loyalty 1,000 times. No, they simply stood their ground. They held on when everyone else let go. They sat in the silence when the world abandoned you. They stayed, not because they had to, not because they owed you anything, but because they chose to. And that, my friend, is rarer than gold, rarer than love, rarer than anything this world pretends to offer. But here's the cruel truth. Sometimes you don't even notice them. You're too busy bleeding over the ones who cut you, too busy staring at closed doors to see the ones that never shut, the ones who called to check in, the ones who stood beside you in the storm, even when there was no glory in it, the ones who never needed to be asked, they just were. Loyalty is a silent thing. It doesn't scream, it doesn't beg for applause, it doesn't wear a crown. It's in the quiet moments, in the "how are you holding up" text when the world forgot you existed, in the way they defend your name when you're not in the room, in the absence of betrayal when betraying you would have been the easier choice. So tell me, do you see them now? The unseen warriors who fought for you in ways you never noticed, the ones who held the line when everyone else surrendered? Because here's the thing, they are the only ones who matter, not the cowards who ran, not the traitors who smiled to your face and disappeared in the night. No, the ones who stayed, they are your real army. And if you're lucky, if you're wise, you'll stop chasing ghosts long enough to honor them, to thank them, to stand beside them the way they stood beside you. Because in the end, the ones who left are nothing but echoes, but the ones who stayed, they are your kingdom. And then it hits you. Maybe being alone was the lesson all along. At first, the silence feels like a punishment, the absence of voices, the lack of footsteps beside you. It gnaws at your mind, whispering that something is missing, that you are missing something. But then, something shifts. The quiet that once felt like a tomb starts to feel like freedom. The loneliness? It isn't loneliness at all. It's rebirth. Because here's the truth they don't tell you. Solitude is where you meet the real you. Not the version shaped by others. Not the mask you wore to keep people close. No, no, no. This is where you strip it all away. Where you face the raw, unfiltered reality of who you are when no one is looking. And that is terrifying. But it's also powerful, because for the first time you stand without a crutch. No validation, no applause, no one feeding you their expectations, just you, breathing, thinking, becoming. The world convinced you that being alone was a curse, but now you see the truth. It's the greatest gift you were ever given. Because in solitude you stop seeking permission, you stop begging for understanding. You stop waiting for someone to choose you. You choose yourself. And that is the moment everything changes. That is when you realize that the pain of abandonment, it wasn't a wound. It was a sculptor, carving away the weakness, shaping you into something unbreakable. So let them leave. Let them vanish. Let the silence stretch on, because you are not alone. You are free. And when you rise, when you finally step out of that darkness, stronger than ever, they won't recognize you. They won't understand how you survived without them. But you will, because you finally learned the truth. You never needed them. They always come back, but not because they care. Oh, isn't it funny? The way ghosts return when they see you shining again. The ones who vanished when you were down, they suddenly have words now. Apologies wrapped in pretty little lies. Regret painted over with excuses. They come knocking, acting as if the past was just a misunderstanding. But you know better. Because when they left, they didn't hesitate. They didn't stutter. They didn't second guess throwing you into the fire. But now they see the flames didn't consume you, they forged you. And that makes them uncomfortable. That makes them wonder if maybe, just maybe, they bet against the wrong one. But listen closely. Do you hear it? That emptiness in their voice? That slight tremble in their words? That's not love. That's not remorse. That's nostalgia. That's selfishness. That's them mourning the version of you they once controlled. The version that needed them. The version that was too blind to see them for what they really were. But that version of you, dead and gone. They miss the comfort of your loyalty, not you. They miss the way you would have forgiven them without a second thought. But you're not that fool anymore, are you? No, you've learned. And you know that some doors once closed should never be reopened. Some bridges should be burned beyond recognition. Because letting them back in, that's not healing. That's self-sabotage. So let them weep. Let them whisper their hollow apologies into the wind. Let them feel the weight of their own absence in your life. Because you, my friend, you don't need closure. You don't need their words. You don't need them. The past is a graveyard. And some ghosts are meant to stay buried. A king doesn't beg for deserters to return to his kingdom. Ah, the great temptation, the hunger for closure, the itch to hear them admit they were wrong, to make them see what they lost. But tell me, does a lion chase the sheep that fled his den? Does a king send messengers to the traitors who abandoned his throne? No, because true power isn't found in proving them wrong. It's found in not caring if they ever realize it. See, bitterness is a chain. A rusted shackle that keeps you bound to ghosts. And revenge? Revenge is just another way to say, I still think about you. That's not strength. That's still playing their game. And you are done playing. The real art, the true mastery, is letting them go so completely, so effortlessly, that their name becomes nothing but dust in the wind. No hatred, no anger, just indifference. Because that is what will haunt them. Not your rage, not your revenge, but your silence. The realization that they no longer exist in your world, that their absence means nothing to you. And when they come back, because they will come back, you won't even flinch. Their presence won't stir you. Their words won't move you. Because you have outgrown the need for validation. You don't need an apology. You don't need justice. You don't need them to see you now. Because the ones who walked away, they made their choice. And the moment they did, they became irrelevant. They wanted you broken, but now they can't even reach you. The irony. They thought they were tearing you down, thought leaving you in the dirt would finish you, thought you would crumble under the weight of their absence. But instead, you rose, not despite them, because of them. The fire they thought would destroy you, it didn't consume you, it reforged you, hardened you into something they can't touch. And now they wouldn't even recognize you. The version of you they left behind, gone, replaced by someone colder, stronger, smarter. They thought walking away would break you, but all they did was teach you how to stand alone. And there is nothing more dangerous than a soul who has mastered solitude. They whisper now, stare from a distance, wonder how the hell you became this. They wonder if maybe they should have stayed if maybe they were wrong. But it's too late, isn't it? You're untouchable now. They don't even have the language to speak to the person you've become. And the best part? You never needed them. You never did. They were a lesson, a footnote, a test of your own strength. And now, while they're stuck in the past, you're already light years ahead. You remember who left, who stayed, and now you decide who's worth keeping. Ah, look at you now. The game has changed. The power has shifted. You are no longer the abandoned. You are the chooser. No longer waiting for apologies. No longer chasing closure. No longer haunted by the ones who walked away. Because the final delicious truth? They lost you, not the other way around. See, they thought they were making a decision when they left, thought they had the upper hand, but now they realize they were just removing themselves from the table, and you sit at the head of it, deciding who gets a seat, who stays, who matters. You've earned that right, because you've built yourself into something unstoppable. No more second chances for ghosts, no more doors left open for the undeserving. You don't just survive now, you thrive. And the past? It doesn't own you. You own it. You hold the pen, you write the ending. And trust me, it's a masterpiece. Because the greatest revenge isn't proving them wrong. It isn't even making them regret. The greatest revenge is no longer caring at all. And as for them, let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them realize they lost someone unforgettable. Because the last laugh, oh, my friend, it was always yours.